Okay, before I begin, I'd like to thank my family and my AVID family for their support, and especially my administrator, Ms. Ruffin, that's going to be leaving me next year. Growing up, traveling from one home to another as a migrant Mexican family was a challenge. There was never a place we could actually call home. Many times, my parents, four sisters, and I slept crowded in a single room, not knowing the meaning of space or comfort. We came from one disappointment to another, but still were united as a family. Jobs were based on what season it was. Tobacco season would mean traveling to South Carolina. Orange season meant traveling to Florida. Sweet potatoes were in North Carolina. As the agricultural season changed, I changed schools. According to my parents, school was a privilege that was seen as an opportunity since they had both only gone as far as second grade in Mexico. I was expected to translate professional documents and speak to insurance agents on behalf of my parents. With my undersized vocabulary at the age of 7, as a child, I carried many burdens and learned how to handle difficult situations. Being one of 5 daughters made it that much more difficult. Now, at the age of 16, I have to worry about getting my family out of our troublesome financial situation and search for a mortgage that suits us. Not only that, I must also help my father run the family business and deal with all types of paperwork. Prioritizing my family standing and financial conditions also augmented my responsibilities. Doing so made me quite different from your average teenager who probably doesn't even know what a mortgage is. Many times I was overwhelmed, stressed, trying to balance school life and family obligations. In the summer of 2006, we moved permanently to Jacksonville, Florida, where a secure job opportunity awaited for my father. This was going to be a drastic change that my sisters and I had no say in. It was going to be different adjusting to the big city life from a small town. It was nothing close to what we were accustomed to. My parents said, "We're going to have better educational chances and improve our financial circumstances. There would no longer be the smell of orange blossoms flowering in the summer. There would be a new beginning and a fresh start." The first day of my freshman year, I walked through Sandalwood High School doors with intense insecurity. I wasn't sure of what I wanted or what I was supposed to do. As I looked at my schedule, I noticed that AVID was my first period. I wasn't sure what the class entailed or what I was supposed to do, only that it would direct me towards college. Within a few months in the program, I loved every aspect of it, from the philosophical chair discussions, the binder checks and warm-ups, to analyzing quotes that motivated me. Tutorials were my favorite, since that was what I would look forward to while struggling in math. My parents could never schedule a parent-teacher conference to discuss concerns or grades, since they could not communicate through English. Given that I was always on my own from the start of my education, it made it difficult for me to handle my struggle with math. I would interrogate Ms. Kirk, my AVID elective teacher, about my grades and what I should do. She always had an answer. Soon enough, tutorials brought my grade from a C to an A throughout the rest of the school year. Having teachers, peers, and staff around you who actually want to see you succeed and achieve was something I never experienced. Being in and out of schools constantly, I witnessed all types of relationships, but never had I witnessed something like this in our AVID classroom. My peers got along in a way that I wasn't familiar with. We were a diverse group of teens. No matter what race or gender we never tried to compete or attempt to prove each other that we were better than one another. In many other schools, I experienced racism and discrimination among teenagers, often causing conflicts, and even death. As soon as you walk in the AVID classroom, you can feel and see that special type of approach among the students and teachers. I did not walk in a room with apprehension of what could happen. I walked in a crowd where I was acknowledged for who I am and our comparable vision, not where I come from or who I hang out with. I was surrounded by peers whom I could share my desire for success. No matter where I turned, I could find a classmate who would give me a spur of motivation, even if it meant getting help with a tutorial, or just anyone who would be willing to listen. In this classroom, we built lifelong friendships and memories as an AVID family together. Given that I had no source of inspiration or anyone to complain to at home, I sought Ms. Kirk, my AVID teacher, as my support. One night I went to a parent night not with my parents, since they absolutely despise these things, but with my sister, who also attended Sandalwood High School. As I sat in the crowd with my peers and their concerned parents, I wondered. Sorry. If I could ever have the opportunity to have my parents sit next to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Although I knew that it would never happen, I hope that possibly one day they could actually want to know how school was going or what I was going through. I could understand that it was not their fault, and I could not help but feel alone and mad at them for it. I know at the moment it was selfish, but why couldn't they learn English and leave me like every other teenager in the world? After the teachers had all given their lectures, everyone departed for home. Walking to the door, I encountered Miss Kirk. She began to chat about school, knowing she would understand and maybe even suggest some advice to keep me from giving up. I informed her that I was lost, tired, and frustrated, almost in tears. I had no time for studying or homework since I had to fill out mortgage modification applications, find a health care for my family that suited us, worry about my mother and sister's residency expiring the following month, and manage my father's business, and get all the payments sent out by the end of the month. It was great letting it all out and having someone who could listen and be comfortable while I was being open about my personal life. Once I had let her know my dilemma, she said that I was an amazing person, taking in so much yet keeping myself composed. Miss Kirk said I had to take one thing at a time in an orderly manner and focus on school once I got home. Her words gave me that little extra push I needed. She always leads by example. In the classroom, she was the one that keeps the atmosphere positive and encouraging. She told us her life stories and motivations. She never allowed giving up in her presence, making it clear that it doesn't matter how smart you are, it matters how hard you're willing to work. You can be the smartest person in the world, yet get nowhere because you're not willing to work for what you want. During the rest of my freshman year, I grew up out of that insecure shell. I became a person who was secure and always knew what she wanted. I learned how to set goals for myself, ask questions when I was confused, and even took on leadership roles. I was one of 5 students chosen to go on a trip to Tallahassee to meet the Educational Commissioner of Florida and talk about my experiences with the program. Knowing that I stood out from a crowd made me proud of what all I could achieve on my own. Not only that, I was also asked to become a mentor for the upcoming AVID freshmen. To be asked to take on this kind of role made me accomplished and confident of my capabilities. Today, I know I can do anything with the right mentality and attitude. Yogi Berra stated, "If you don't know where you are going, you'll end up somewhere else. You must build up and engage a plan in order to begin building yourself, or you will end up in the exact same spot." I plan to do something meaningful with my life. I have set up key objectives for myself with the help of AVID. I will get into the University of Central Florida and their newly established School of Medicine in 2011 to make college my choice, not a chance. With the lending hand of every scholarship I can obtain, I will prove to the world that I am not another face in the crowd, and I will not allow anything to interfere with my goals. Knowing that in the back of my mind, I and only not I am the one who makes choices for myself. I decide. I refuse to deprive the world of what I am capable of giving it. Thank you.